Well, kicking the new week off with busy weather, too. Winter weather alerts have been expanded to account for areas north of the lake that could have some slick travel for the first part of our Monday. Cold rain mostly around the lake. That does make for a messy morning commute for our Monday, but we should start to dry it out in the afternoon. Temperatures will warm into the upper 40s. We go back down into the 20s as we go into Monday night. And the rest of the week is cold with highs in the low 40s, even upper 30s by the end of the week. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Prioritizing your health is one of the best ways to take care of yourself. From routine visits to the joys of pregnancy to the illnesses that stop you in your tracks, Iredell Health System will be by your side. Learn more at iredellhealth.org.
At Kane Center for the Arts, we believe art is for everyone. From our exciting performing arts series and gallery exhibits to robust education programs and impactful community initiatives, there's something for everyone. Visit kanearts.org.
The following is a paid program and does not necessarily reflect the views of WSIC.
I want to see the kind of industries that are opening up.
This is Local Biz Now with Joe Vagnone, where your business matters. Local Biz Now.
You have to determine what is working, what isn't working.
Joe Vagnone is a respected business broker, helping individuals buy and sell businesses. Joe has successfully owned and operated many companies in a variety of industries. This is Local Biz Now, because your business matters.
Yeah. You are listening to the #1 live talk business show in North Carolina, coming to you from our Burner Cigar Studios, home of the fine premium cigars and fine premium cigar smokers. I should know I'm one of them. This is Joe Vagnone, and I encourage you to go buy Burner Cigars in Brookdale Village. It is an exceptional place, an exceptional list of cigars there. We hope you will enjoy going by there. We always appreciate them being our sponsor. We hope that you can be inspired, informed, and entertained, because that's what we do here at WSIC. You are listening to 105.9 FM, 100.7 FM, 1400 AM. I am Joe Vagnone, and this is Local Biz Now. And every month, as you know, we have a co-host. In this month, for a co-host, I have Brian Kennedy. Most of you have heard him in the last year, and we hope that Brian is ready and willing and able to keep up this week. Brian likes to be called the chief catalyst and encourager of Brian Kennedy Global. Brian, my friend, thank you for being here, buddy. I appreciate it.
Well, thanks for the opportunity to be back and share this time with you, Joe.
So how did Julie talk you into coming back? Because it's not that long ago that you were on. I think you're our fill-in guy now. I think Julie's using you as the fill-in guy.
Well, I made the mistake of telling Julie that when I played college basketball, I was a role player, which means I had the seat at the end of the bench the coach wasn't on. and she is determined that I get to play, but not as a regular.
That's right. That's right. Well, and also, just so you know, I heard her say, I really like him. He is, listen to this, surprisingly smart. So I guess she didn't think you were going to.
Well, it fooled her and me.
Yeah, that's exactly what I think happened. But clearly she thinks a lot of you, buddy, because this is the second or third time you filled in. And I thank you, my friend. I really do appreciate it.
Well, it's my pleasure. My pleasure.
So just for the people that don't know, Brian Kennedy Global, what exactly is that?
It's a organization that changes itself with every hour. Actually, we focus on just four basic principles, four basic things. One is I'm a coach. I always wanted to be a basketball coach. Did a great job in business coaching people. Couldn't get a job as a basketball coach, and then I realized I was coaching people. So I had a lot of people go to executive positions who worked for me, and I realized that I had an influence on them. So I thought I could do it for other people. I'm a speaker, and I do public speaking and do a lot of things on personal development and growth. I also am a writer. I'm working on a couple of books, and as you can see from the article today, I've published articles in LinkedIn and I've had some other magazine articles published. And I'm a thinker. So I do some of that.
So the last one is how you got me. You understand? You got to Julie to get on the show, but the first time you're on the show, I could tell the way you offer advice is the way a guy like me likes it. Bullet points. Like you sort of say, do this, this, and this. And it's that way of thinking that doesn't surprise me that you're a good coach, right? Because us small business people, we need those bullet points.
Well, it was really interesting. I shared with you my first time that my mentor was Zig Ziglar, and I met him when I went into a Baptist church in Plano, Texas, and he was teaching the Sunday school class, and he taught in bullet points. And I've yet to hear a Baptist preacher who didn't teach in bullet points.
That's right. That's right.
And I said,
Or acronyms. Yeah.
Yeah. And I thought to myself, bullet points. Yeah. I had served in the military. I understand bullets. So let's get the points. Yeah, we'll do that.
Yeah. So talk a little bit about your time with Zig Ziglar, because he is, I mean, when you use his name as a speaker or a coach or a motivator, there is very few people you would put at that list, at the top of that list with him.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I can only think of two others, and I won't mention them right now. But Zig was he was extremely important in my development because he never talked at anybody. Every time he was on the platform, be it a Sunday school class, be it just a regular conversation around coffee, or from the when he was doing one of his big events, you felt like he was speaking with you, not talking to you, but speaking with you.
So I've watched a couple of documentaries on him. I've read 3 or 4 of his books.
Sure.
Probably listened to 10 or 15 different tapes of his. He really was great on the audio.
Fabulous.
And what comes across to me is genuine. He is who he says he is, and he tries to be what he tells you to try and be. Well, would you agree with that? Because
Absolutely.
obviously I didn't know him.
He lived he walked the talk, and he lived the life of the person who was speaking. I can't think of a thing that he ever suggested for somebody to consider. And he was the king of questions. I'd ask him a question, and all of a sudden I'm standing there saying, why am I answering my question? Because he answered it with a question. And he made you think. Ironically, I told a group of people this morning, I was on a Monday morning devotional, and it happened to be the Ziglar Monday morning devotional. And it's with the Ziglar organization. And there are a group of really high level speakers and coaches and encouraging folks on that call every Monday morning on Zoom. And his daughter, Cindy, and his son, Tom, are on there each week as well. And I mentioned I was going to be on here, and we just all talked about what a great person he was, and how when you had a habit of motivation,
Right.
was one of the things he taught. And we said, you can't have a habit of motivation without being consistent. And consistency was one of the things that I picked up from him.
For me, because I'm kind of a junkie.
Oh, yeah.
You can kind of tell I'm a Zig Ziglar junkie, and but for some people, I hear what they have to say, and it's good quality stuff.
Sure.
I question whether they're genuine on what it is they live their life. But with Zig, you just kind of you just knew it. This is just a genuine man, and you wanted to follow his genuine advice.
Absolutely. Absolutely. In fact, you hungered for it.
Okay, we got to go to break. What are the other 2 people you'd put? Because you did this to yourself now. You said there was a couple other people you'd put on his list. Who would that be?
John C. Maxwell and Vince Posenti.
Okay, let's take a break. We'll be right back. You are listening to Local Biz Now. I am Joe Vagnone, and I am here with Brian Kennedy. He is my friend, whether he will admit it or not. You are listening to Local Biz Now, where your business matters. We'll be right back.
Glad I can follow the street sign.
Okay, we're in the commercial. Your mic's back on.
Say what?
Your mic's are on.
Right. We are still live on Facebook and YouTube. So if you want to make fun of Brian, you still can do it. And there's plenty of people that will hear you.
You guys are great.
Brian, Julie has got your website on the book. So somebody wants to go there and check you out, they can do that.
Jay, next
Okay,
class I'm gonna have to get you to come. You've got all this
Okay.
pep and energy.
Do what?
Okay.
The next class I do, I got to get him to come because
no
he's got all this
kidding.
pep and energy.
He's
great.
Yeah.
So, okay, Julie. Now, Julie, just so you know, Julie is on Facebook. She kind of monitors that. So I'm going to ask Julie a question. I got 2 minutes. Okay, Julie. Now the colors you see behind them now is mode 1. Okay. Now I want to know what you think about mode 2. Let's see if she can tell a difference. See, because the problem is I can't see it on Facebook because it's about a 45-second delay. Okay, so now we got a 2. So let's see if Julie likes number 1 or number 2. And then the last one is number 3. This is number 3.
Oh, that woke us up.
You like that one?
Oh, they got
I
brighter.
can't tell.
They got brighter. I noticed they got brighter.
Listen, Brian, here's the thing. They made a mistake and gave me this button, and his control got buttons on it, and I can't help but press the button. Oh, Julie said 1 is more wintry. Julie wants number 1.
Yeah, but we get
Okay,
cold.
Julie. Wintry. Oh, that's Patrick. Oh, Patrick is trying to steal Julie's thunder. Patrick, I cannot follow your advice. I got to take Julie's advice. Julie wants 3. Patrick's trying to get me in trouble. Man, Patrick's trying to get me in trouble. Okay. Brian, are you ready?
I reckon so.
Okay.
Is the outlook?
Jojo, we ready to go? I thought you told me it's time to go. You're the worst board operator on the planet. I bet Patrick's got a good board operator.
Back to Local Biz Now with your host, Joe Vagnone on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC. Local starts here.
Yeah. You are listening to Local Biz Now. I am Joe Vagnone. This is where your business matters. I'm here with Brian Kennedy. You are listening to the #1 live talk business show in North Carolina. Let me prove it to you. We've been going strong for over 11 years. We have over 900 small business owners and community leaders that we have interviewed over the years. We have well over 750 videos on YouTube. Please go by Joe Vagnone Business Broker at YouTube and subscribe. Again, Joe Vagnone YouTube and subscribe. We would appreciate it. All of the videos are there for you to take a look at. And there are some really exceptional, sharp people there. If you're thinking about getting started in business, or you've got a question or an answer, we've got them all broken up there. And I bet you your answer is on one of those videos. Again, Joe Vagnone, Business Broker on YouTube. Go by there and subscribe. You are listening to Local Biz Now. I am Joe Vagnone, where your business matters. And my co-host for the entire day, whether I like it or not, whether he likes it or not, is Brian Kennedy. Brian is absolutely my who's who of strategic thinkers. Can I say that? Because I see you as that kind of a guy, you understand?
Well, thank you.
Yeah, I do. And so that's because you hang around smart people. I don't know that you're that smart, Brian, but you sure do hang around a lot of smart people.
I've always subscribed that if you're the smartest guy in the room, you're in trouble.
If I'm in the room and I'm the smartest guy, I know we're in trouble. So you're right about that.
I'm sure glad Mary is smart.
That's right. Somebody's got to carry this show. So Brian, right before we went off the air, you had mentioned 2 other people that we genuinely like. We were talking about Zig Ziglar that we both like, and you had mentioned two other business coaches that you like. Just say a little something about each one of them, just so people listening know why it is you like them.
Sure. John C. Maxwell is the guru of leadership. He has written over 125 books, 87 of which are just on the subject of leadership. And he has affected the lives of millions and millions of people worldwide. And his teaching is so down to earth and so normal that you really can't, you have no excuse for not being able to follow his thinking and what he's doing. But the idea is that you grow from the thought process, the fundamentals, the principles that he shares with people about leadership.
You know, it's funny because I started wanting to be self-employed many years ago. I'm embarrassed to say, I started back when I was 17 years old. I didn't do it because I wanted to be in charge, Ryan. You understand?
Right.
I wanted to do it because I did not want somebody telling me what to do. I wanted to do it because I wanted to be able to say and do what I wanted to say and do when I wanted to do it. Not because I wanted to be a leader. I woke up one day and realized I had over 175 employees. And all of a sudden I have to decide, am I a leader? So a lot of us small business people, that's not the ultimate goal, right? It just is another something we have to learn. Can we learn to be a leader, or is it something that we either have or we don't?
Well, one of the interesting things is all leaders are born, but there's no such thing as a born leader. And
say that one more time.
All leaders are born. It's the only way you get here. All leaders are born, but there's no such thing as a born leader. Becoming a leader is a learning process. I learned that from both Zig, John, and anybody else that was ever above me and teaching.
Patton and MacArthur, they learned how to become leaders. They just weren't natural leaders.
Exactly. And one of the very
Exactly. Ryan, that's a thing. That's a long-term show thing. But go ahead.
One of the things that we look at is, you get into a position of leadership. That doesn't make you a leader. That makes you the guy in charge.
Right.
The leader is the guy who takes you where you didn't think you could go, and you can't wait to get on board and get there. And the leader understands that by taking you where his vision is, he is also fulfilling the goals and dreams of your life.
Interesting. Okay. And the second guy,
Vince Pacenti.
I've not heard of him.
No, too many people haven't. He's an internationally known speaker, and I worked with him. We had a consulting practice in Dallas, Texas. He's written several books, and Vince is known as a skier, speed skier. He decided in 1988 that he wanted to ski in the sport of speed skiing in the 1992 Winter Olympics. He had never done the sport. And because it was an exhibition sport, you had to rank in the top 16 in the world in order to make it. So he went from never having done it, he went from no funding, no coaching, and no experience to the final round skiing for the gold medal.
Wow.
And his story and the way that he teaches consistency and confidence and things of that nature just had a major impact on me.
Okay. We don't have time to go into all this, but I got to know, how did you meet this guy? Because you know them all, man. I mean, how in the world did you meet this guy?
Well, how'd I meet Zig?
Well,
how'd I meet Vince?
Right.
Yeah, I was in a networking group in Dallas called the Maverick Business Networking Group, and I ran into the president of home investors. They buy ugly houses.
Right.
That group. He was the president. He was part of that networking group. He said, I know somebody that wants to put something together. I think you and I are the right two people to do it. And it goes back to what this article is about, which we may or may not get.
I was going to say, we stepped right into the next place I want to go.
Yeah. And writing with that article, because of getting out there and establishing relationships with people, he said, I want to introduce you to this guy, Vince Pacenti.
Okay, so that's exactly where I want to go. Co-hosts have to bring an article in from the Google, but you just try and show off, and this is your article. So you are the Google.
I am the Google.
You are the Google.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
And so,
Just call me Goog.
so networking or net selling is what you're asking the question. And talk a little bit about this article, because what you're saying is, listen, we want to meet new people,
Right.
and you want to suggest how they need to do that. Correct?
Yes.
And just talk for a minute, and then I want to go over these 6 things that you've listed here.
Okay, you want to meet new people. In the process, how many times have you gone to and this is great for all of you folks out there who are listening in business. How many times have you gone to a networking event and somebody walked up to you, handed you their business card, and started telling you everything they had ever done since they were 3? And you're thinking, well, I need time to tell them what I'm doing. You're not establishing a relationship. The people that establish relationships go to a networking meeting. They already know who they want to meet. They may not know the name of the person, but they know the position. They know the type of individual. They know the type of behavior that kind of individual has. And that's part of the strategy. Then what they do is they look for those people, go up and introduce themselves. Ooh, that was shocking.
That might have
exciting.
something to do with my new lights going.
I have never seen
I'm blaming that on Patrick Reynolds. He had something to do with that. But let's keep going.
I have never before said anything that brought the walls down. Anyway, the idea is that you want to learn about the people to understand who I want to spend time with, because time is the most valuable resource we have, more
Right.
than anything. And if you're spending your time going out trying to sell people, you're not really selling, you're repelling.
So here's what you do. You've got 3 things: values, a helping spirit, and influence. And so talk about those 3 things, because it sounds like that's what I need to bring to the table before I walk in the room. Am I understanding that correctly?
Well, not only, yes, you have to bring it, but that's why you're looking for those people that share your values. Now, if your value is to net sell, you're going to meet plenty of people doing that. If your value is to find people who bring value to the lives of others by what they do, such as you bring value to people who are looking to buy a business, get into a business, and
help them sell. But I got to tell you something. That's a stretch for me. I don't like there are many other people. Matter of fact, we're getting ready to talk with one in a minute that are genuinely really helping people.
Right.
So there's some businesses that might be a challenge for us to get to that point that we see real help out of what we're doing. Am I wrong to think that way?
I'm not going to say you're wrong. I disagree with the thought.
Well, now, you do understand, Brian, the whole reason why I've been here 12 years is because the owner of the station loves when people disagree with me and argue with me. He calls that good radio. So that's okay. You can do that.
But you do.
So you're saying, Joe, you do provide real value to somebody.
What are you doing here in the show?
Right.
You're providing value to other people by the guests that you have and the co-hosts that don't show up and give me the opportunity to come.
That's right. Okay, so we got 6 things. We're gonna not have time to dig into them, but I'm gonna read them. More opportunities, faster deals, momentum, reduce costs, client retention, and evangelize. These are things that you say you need to help create a genuine relationship with.
Those are the benefits of developing direct
Got it.
relationships.
Got it.
Those are the benefits of developing relationships.
And I want you to tell them where they can reach you, buddy.
Yeah, you can reach me. You can find me on my website, briankennedyglobal.com. And that has my email and a phone number.
And go see Brian. He can help you through this. He is an exceptional person when it comes to building relationships. You are listening to Local Biz Now. We will be right back where your business matters. Okay, you two need to switch.
Okay.
Now, Brian, you official co-host, so ask any questions you want of her.
Slide that.
I don't think it did anything, so I didn't worry about it. I didn't even know what it did. Other than I think Patrick was trying to hit me.
I think that's what it was, actually.
You know, of all the things that have ever happened while I've been somewhere, that's been one of them.
That's one of them. Yes, it was. Okay. All right, how you doing? Ready to go?
Yeah.
All right. I would
Now, you know
like
that's
to
going to fall down again, hit me in the head. It's going to give Patrick a second chance to abuse me.
It's called.
Brian, although we didn't get to your article, that was good. That was good.
Mhm.
We kind of got to your article.
I read
Okay.
an article by somebody else. Stop networking and start connecting. I'm thinking that's what networking is.
Right.
You know, apparently these people had never read Dale Carnegie. And they never read Bob Berg, or they never read any of the other folks like that.
Patrick,
Some of it's what you were talking
Patrick
about.
just said
People go in for the
that was
thrill
all part of
versus
his
getting to know
plan,
the
so he could be the
person.
new,
Yeah.
the new
Yeah.
host of Local
They go into
Biz
stuff.
Now. Kill Joe.
And then next time you see
You're not
him
going
at
to
the
kill me,
event,
Patrick.
you
You're going
wanna
to put
stay
a
as
bump
far
on
away
my
from
head,
his
but
bump.
you're not going to kill
Right.
me.
it's really interesting. I was in an event with the Small Business Center the other this past it was in November.
Mhm.
I slept since then, so I didn't remember. It was in November, and I met these folks, and one lady came up to me and she said, "I'm so and so. Have you got a business card?" And I said, "No." She said, "You don't? You don't carry business cards?" I said, "I never carry business cards." She said, "Well, let me give you one of mine." I said, "What makes you think I want yours?" She said, "You don't want to collect business cards?" I said, "No, I want to collect people. I want to know about you before I take your business card. So let's chat a little bit." And then I asked her for a business card.
That's awesome.
I stopped carrying business cards years ago. And with a cell phone, I met John Galena, who is Purple Hearts owned.
Mhm.
He was speaking. I'd gone up to him. We talked. I said, "I'd really like to get to know you better." He said, "Well, here's my phone number." And he texted me his phone number. And I texted him my contact information back. And he texted me his contact information. Why do I need a business card?
Okay. I learned that a long time ago. When I was doing mortgages, I had a client that had me meet at a restaurant.
Yeah.
Brought his whole family.
Yeah.
And, the initial thing is you open up the laptop and you get ready to have a conversation. He goes, "You can put that away." And I said, "What?" He goes, "We aren't talking business today." He says, "I want to buy a house, yes, but not today. Today, I want to get to know who you are."
Yeah. Yeah.
And we had a great meal, great conversation, and that always stuck with me.
All right, guys, here we go.
Here we go. Mary,
Just ask
ready?
Alexa to play WSIC.
Now more Local Biz Now with Joe Vagnone on 105.9 100.7 WSIC. Local starts here.
You are listening to #1 live talk business show in North Carolina. We're coming to you from Burner Cigar Studio, home of premium cigars and premium cigar smokers. Great people, premium cigars. Life is good at Burners Cigars, located in Brookdale Village. Also, their newest location in Denver on Highway 16, and they're working on a third location. I'll keep you informed on that. We hope to inspire, inform, and entertain you here at WSIC, because that's what we do. You are listening to Local Biz Now. I am Joe Vagnone, and I am here with my co-host, Brian Kennedy, and I am ready to introduce to you our next guest, Mary. Mary, please pronounce your last name. I don't want to mess it up. Brouillette. Mary Brouillette is the CEO of Project Rent No More LLC. It is a financial literacy and wealth building coach. And I met Mary through some very, very wise financial people. So I'm sure Mary knows what she's doing. But it's the first time you and I have met, correct?
It is. We've gotten to talk on the phone, but our first face-to-face meeting.
So I met you because I've been told you're an expert at helping first time home buyers. It's only after I met you that I realized you do much more than just help them with home buying.
Exactly. That's where it all started. Hence the name Project Rent No More. So I started in mortgages and real estate 20 some years ago. I know I don't look like it.
You certainly don't look like you've aged the way Brian has aged. Now, I'll tell you that. Brian's losing hair hourly.
It's a gift.
But I realized really quickly that when people come in, it wasn't just about buying their first home. They didn't understand money, they didn't understand credit. Sometimes they had too much of one thing, not enough of the other thing, or vice versa. But there was always something else that was more underlying. And it was more about figuring out what is it that you really need, and let's help you get all your pieces of your puzzle put together. And so I started coaching them on getting their businesses straight, even how to start businesses sometimes, um, all the way down to I get the questions, Dad just got Social Security. What's he do with it? And it was great to be able to sit at dinner tables, get invited to your clients' homes, and
Right.
you really get to know the entire family and all the mechanics of what makes them tick. And you build these wonderful relationships that last lifetimes. And in the course of it, you get to see them change from I came to you to buy a house to now I've got a successful business to, we've got our legacy that's building and being able to help them with each of those pieces of the puzzle. And so I learned really quickly about 2 years ago that it was time to really take Project Rent No More to the next level. And I stepped away from full time mortgages and started really coaching people on where their financial needs were and building the pieces of those blocks up without getting my hand slapped for not writing loans because now I
Right,
can do
right,
more.
right. So where do you find your clients at now? Where do they come from?
They come from mostly from
Because most of your clients
referrals.
don't even know they need help until somebody else tells them you need help.
Right. And they come from my previous clients. They come from business owners and other people that I meet because there's always a need for something. And I used to joke because I would run a team. We talked about volunteering in church. I volunteered in church. I had a team, but my ministry is really my office because people are more broken when they come through those doors than when they come to church on Sunday. And you get to really meet them where their need is when they come in there and they've got a quiet environment. And before you know it, we've got laughter, we've got tears, we've got growth happening. And it all starts with figuring out where that uncomfortable spot is for them and taking them through that spot.
Well, in my case, I think I told you my nephew got his first job, and he comes to me and he's giving my advice. Well, here's the problem. I gave him advice, which was do what I did, buy a small little home or trailer, right, and slowly start building equity and move up. Well, that's what I did. You understand that? The problem is that's a different world. My wife laughed at me. She said, that was 40 something years ago that you bought a trailer for $15,000. Nowadays, that same trailer is $140,000. So the numbers are completely different. So my advice just doesn't fit. So I need you as much as my nephew needs you so that I can get an understanding of what the future looks like for this next generation. Because I'll tell you something, I don't know how you feel about this. And remember, you're allowed to disagree. But I swear all of us, this generation, work so hard to make sure our kids' lives are better than ours. Somewhere along the line, we messed them up. And now they can't get the start that we created for ourselves. Something about that is amiss because the finances are much more challenging for home ownership and financing and that sort of stuff than I've ever seen. Am I missing that?
No, you're not missing it. And we talk about this quite a bit in my office. My partner and I, she has a trust fund baby, and getting him to understand. how things work and it doesn't just happen by magic.
Right.
It's a whole different mindset. He's just like, well, why can't I just have this? Why can't I just do this? And as parents, we always want our kids to have what we didn't have. And we provide that for them, but we make it look so easy that they don't realize there's work that goes into making all these pieces come together.
Right.
And it takes that effort that we create to put the money and the savings in place to provide for them the way that they're used to living. So when they get out there on their own, they have no clue what they're doing.
Well, in my case with my nephew, I found a couple of trailers that I thought he could afford, and we walked into them. Uncle Joe, this smells. Well, yeah, we're gonna have to clean the carpet. We're going, there's some work we're going. What you mean clean the carpet? They don't do that before I move in? No, man. So they just don't accept certain things. I was willing to consider, quote, back in the day, sweat equity, to be able to. They're just not interested in that. So your advice to them is kind of tricky, isn't it? Because it's not just what you think they should do; it's what you think they're willing to accept.
Right. But it starts with really getting to know where they are and asking questions on their mindset and getting them to think through it. Instead of saying, this is where you need to start because this is what the market is or this is what everything is generating in this generation. It's more like, what are you willing to do to get to where you want to be?
Right.
And getting them to think through, okay, well, yeah, it smells bad in here, but it's a stepping stone. I'm not going to be a renter now. I'll be a homeowner.
Right.
I'm building
Right.
equity. I'm building value. And then teaching them how to move up because as you have equity, maybe this is your rental or the down payment on your next property.
Right.
And you slowly start moving your way along
Right.
because it takes a little bit, unfortunately we say crawl before you can walk.
Right.
Finances are like that too. You take baby steps and learn to get from here where I am today to where I need to be tomorrow and
Right.
where I'm trying to get to down the road.
So if there's people out there listening, wanting to help their kids get started in financing and understanding, how can they reach you?
They can reach me at 704-507-3893.
One more time, because this is radio.
Yep, that's 704-507-3893.
And do you have a website that they can reach you at?
They can also go to projectrentnomore.com. And it's all about getting you to that next step. So projectrentnomore.com.
So let's do this. If I have somebody that I think is getting ready to get started, when is the right moment? Is it when they're thinking about buying a home or they're thinking about moving out from their parents or they're just getting out of college? Like, when is that moment that you can best help them?
When they are ready to get out into the world, whether it's their first job or they are getting ready to go to college or planning for that first place, it's never too soon to start learning how money works, how finances work, how credit works, and what you need to do to be on track for your future goals.
So from my vantage point, when I see these kids nowadays, I bet you see wide ranges. You see the kids with nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And you see the kids, the trust fund kids that are absolutely in much better shape than we would have ever dreamed of being in.
Right. And, you see all walks of life, but there's never, you're not good enough or you're not well enough or maybe you're too well off and you don't need me. There's always a need for financial literacy.
Right.
At every stage. So
they might have the money, but they don't know what to do with it.
Exactly. So learning
let's
the right places.
Let's take a break. We'll be right back.
Okay.
Brian, she did say exactly. You are listening to Local Biz Now, where your business matters. We'll be right back. Touch with because we got to find a way to get him a home. somehow.
Mics are back on.
Say what?
Mics are back.
I can't hear you.
The mics are back on.
Right. They're live. You were afraid I was going to say something, didn't you?
No,
You was afraid I was going to make fun of somebody.
as it was coming.
I'm gonna make
from
fun
the
of you.
commercial,
Oh,
music.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, so if you stop about 10.
Oh,
early,
okay.
You that would.
So that would have been a good time to make fun of you. Nobody would have heard it. Oh, Kathy.
Now everybody's.
Now everybody. Now everybody knows not to pay attention to Joe.
You guys
So
have-
we come back. You have about 8 to 9 minutes left.
Okay.
We come back.
So we're back.
So is there something specifically you want to talk about?
You want to talk about creating generational wealth and what that looks like?
Okay. And then I want to talk a little bit about how you how you got to this point and do this. All right. Brian, I'm going to reduce your pay if you don't ask a question.
Well, I could work it in.
Well,
I got 2, man. You're an automatic.
Don't you know by now you got to jump in? You know, I tell people all the time, unfortunately, co-hosts, by the time they figure out exactly how to do this and deal with me, right, their month is up, you know. You got to jump in, right?
Yeah. Every time I go to jump in, I keep thinking of my mother beating me on the back of the head for interrupting the grown-ups.
Well, okay, you got 2 ways to jump in.
Yeah.
Okay. You can just immediately say Mary, then I'll know. Or you can say Joe, and then I'll know. Or you can just wave your finger. Now, if I treat you like I treat JoJo and ignore you, right, and pay you no never mind, right, then you're just going to have to say Joe. Or you can say Mary, I got a question. That's the easiest way to jump in, because even if either one of us are talking, we heard that, and then the next question is yours. But other than that, I got another question. You understand? You got to be ready to go.
I'm ready to go.
Now, this is your 3rd time being on the show. You
I'm ready
should
to
know
go.
that by now.
I'm ready to go.
You got to jump.
And I saw how
This is
you.
radio. I just can't wait.
Call now to speak with Joe Vagnone at 844 Studio 4. It's Local Biz Now on 1059 100.7 WSIC. Local starts here.
You are listening to the #1 live talk business show in North Carolina. This is home of Burners Cigar Studio. Burners is an exceptional place to get exceptional cigars. Go by there, tell them that Joe sent you, and your first cigar is on me. You are listening to Local Biz Now. I am Joe Vagnone. I'm here with my co-host Brian Kennedy, where your business matters. And we are talking with Mary. She is the CEO of Project Rent No More, which is a financial wealth management company. Mary, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So, Mary, we were talking right before the break, and we were trying to get an understanding of when is the best time to have somebody reach you. And what I heard you say is, it doesn't matter. I'll meet them where they are and be able to talk them through that. One of the things I noticed when I went to your website is you've got these what you call generational wealth programs or concepts or thoughts. Walk me through some of that.
So it came from my own personal story. I always knew life insurance when it's an asset because if you're positioned correctly, it can build wealth. It can build cash value in there that you can borrow from. So I knew that I had that, and I knew that I had something if I didn't wake up one day. I didn't know there was a whole nother world inside of that, and it all fit with what I was doing to help people get through their legacy and build that wealth. And it's really cool because one, when you're creating wealth inside of your cash value life insurance, you're actually doing it tax free. You're never too young to borrow from yourself. You're never going to get penalized or taxed on it when it's set up properly. And it can also be there when you want to do that investment, like going to college or
Right.
buying the first house. Because
Right.
you're growing it, you borrow it from yourself instead of the bank. You don't have to worry about the qualifying. You pay yourself back or you don't. And then it can also supplement us as we get later in life and we don't want to work anymore.
So I have something similar to this.
Mhm.
You can tell me how wrong I am. Brian's smiling. He's hope I'm wrong about this. Um, I would swear to you, the investments inside this whole life policy that builds cash are much better than anything I could pick myself. It's as if they have to make sure that those investments succeed, right? Because that's how they said to me they're going to pay for my life insurance if I pass. Am I missing the point? Because it does seem like those investments inside that healthcare program are much better than anything else a private investment firm has given me. Am I missing the point on that?
You are not missing the point. You are dead on. Now,
Whoa, you hear that, Brian?
this is in
I'm
your
on to something.
indexed products.
And it is life insurance, and you were dead on. Remember
Yeah.
that?
I like that.
Right. Don't amuse Brian with that, wishing such a thing.
But they invest in things like the S&P 500, things that are safe, and they actually purchase chunks of time where the money is really performing well. So even during COVID in 23, where everybody was tanking, they were trying to pull out of 401ks and IRAs because they were losing money, cash value life insurance was still averaging about 5.38% the whole time. So you never lose in a down market. The worst thing that's going to happen to your money is that it just sits there and hangs out for a minute, but you won't see your values go down. You won't
Right.
see it dip. So it's a great investment and it compounds. So as you're putting money into your plans, and you can structure these for however long you want to pay, which is really cool too. You can say, I don't want to pay past retirement, and we can structure it where at 65 you make no more payments, but it's going to last you all the way into your hundreds.
Right.
So Mary, as you talk about that, I'm looking at the idea of this is different from some of the other advice that we were talking about earlier.
Mhm.
So as I go around the community and meet people in networking events and programs and things, with this information, what would I be looking for in conversation and relationship building with other people that would imply that they would be a good referral for you?
Anybody that's breathing is a good referral for me.
Yeah, I
you
mean,
know,
but we're talking
people-
about business people. I want to
Right.
I want to
Well,
dig
for
it down
business
because
owners, we need plans to save, and particularly small
That
business owners.
statement is so true because we small business people don't trust the market.
Right.
We know better. We know it's nothing but a shell game and a gambling thing. But
Right.
what you're describing allows the market or the people in the insurance program to be working that for me so I don't have to know it. It's sort of on
Exactly.
my side. I really like the concept of it.
And it's a tax write-off when you're a business owner, because you need something that's going to save. It's going to have something if you pass away so that your business continues or your family's okay. But even bigger, these are ATM machines right here, our bodies. And when they break down, and it happens, and that's where my story came from. I flatlined in 2016. And I did not know that inside of my plan, because my agent was new at the time, that I actually had living benefits. So my hospital stay, my vacation was, hey, who have you got that I can qualify today? Because I knew I was going to have a bill. I knew something wasn't going to be covered by health insurance, and it was about $40,000. And it took me 4 years to pay it off. And so I never got that downtime to really recuperate.
Right.
But inside of these life plans now, you've got living benefits. You can pull from them while you're alive to get better. That's important to every business owner that I know out there. So when I'm networking, I'm hitting them with all of life's risks, because these plans take care of all of those things in a market where they're not going to lose money. And if you can get Uncle Sam to finance your retirement plan,
Right.
why not? That's a perk.
Right.
And so business owners love it, especially when they are starting out and they have some money that they can fund into these plans, because later on when they want to expand, they've got their own cash. They don't need to go to the bank. They don't have to worry about where's my credit or am I over leveraged. They are just tapping into what they already have saved, borrowing it from themselves. And here's the thing that I forgot to tell you about this. When you borrow it from yourself, it's treated just like a loan. So your cash value side never looks like you took the money out. And that way, when you do pay yourself back, if you pay yourself back, you've never missed a minute of the compound interest that you can gain from this.
And so, all these people out there that are listening say, I'd really like to talk about this. What is there a term for this, or just let's talk about insurance, period?
It's cash value life insurance, or LIRP, life insurance retirement plan. You'll hear people call it by several different names, but that's the basis of it. And business owners like Mr. Belk during the Depression kept his doors open with his cash value life insurance. Ray Kroc actually bought his first McDonald's using the cash value in his life insurance. So these are plans that have been around for a long time, and the carriers that I represent are well over 100 years old each. One of them is actually 30 years older than Wells Fargo Bank. So they've been around a long time.
So, Brian, you understand, Patrick and Julie are trying to pile on and say that I don't give you a chance to ask any questions. So let me hesitate and give you the opportunity if you'd like to ask another question.
Oh,
Now that you haven't been able to come up with one,
I would love to. I've always got a question. I've always got a question. As you've been coming up in the industry and in the industries that you've been, and you seem very astute for picking up on ideas and things. What is the best advice, business advice you've ever received? How did it work? How did it work for you? And is it something that you've been able to share with others?
And it is. It's what we were just talking about during the break, networking or net selling. And it's really about getting to know people. Everything that we do, it doesn't matter if you're in a sales position, retail, you've got a service industry, people are the root of what makes your business grow. And if you get to know people first and not just go in there to say, hey, I've got this product or this service, or I can do this for you, but hey, what makes you tick? I'd like to get to know you. I'd like to be your friend and be that person that's your confidant. And getting to really get down to it, because people do business with people that they like and know and trust.
So, how did you get here? Right? How did you get to the point where you find yourself an expert in this area? Because it's a detail related industry.
It is, and really, it started with mortgages and real estate. And you have to figure out how to fish. Nobody gives you that. They give you a license and say, go make money. And so you're like, well, how do I find clients? And I found out through trial and error, it really boils down to relationships and getting to know people and getting that in. And then from mortgages, you're hearing that, there are other issues, there's other financial problems, or they don't really understand how to get from where they are to that next tier. And you're guiding them through all of that. And then as soon as I learned all of the benefits about the life insurance products, I'm like, all of it goes hand in hand to complete their profile.
So from my world, right, I see your benefit being for the younger generation, but the truth is, it's probably some stuff I ought to consider, or people my age, that I can consider for my kids.
Exactly.
Exactly is what you said, Brian.
I have parents that come to me that want to do something for their children as they're growing and save for college. I have older folks who want to do stuff for grandchildren. And I even have older folks that, because we're just not taught how money works, that are like, what do I do? How do I have a comfortable retirement? How do I get to that next tier and make sure my family's okay?
Right. Okay. We got less than a minute. Give them your phone number one more time, and also your website.
Okay. So you can reach me at 704-507-3893. 704-507-3893, or at projectrentnomore.com. That's projectrentnomore.com.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You are listening to Local Biz Now. I am Joe Vagnone, and I am here with Brian Kennedy and Mary. Mary, I'm sorry, your last name again?
Brouillette.
Brouillette. I don't know why I can't read that correctly. With she's CEO of Project Rent No More. You are listening to Local Biz Now, where your business matters. See you next week.
Sir. Bill. W290DK Mooresville, W264CU Statesville.
Got a Toyota?